Hey everybody, it's Brad at Dayport Brothers LLC out in Versailles, Ohio. Gonna do another walk around video followed by an operational video on this 2018 Kubota M6 111 tractor that came in and we're putting up for sale. Like always, I'll walk around, I'll talk about the features and functions. I'll get up close to everything, I'll show you anything that I see, tell you anything that I might know on the tractor. Then of course we'll fire it up, we'll run it through its paces. We'll show you the pins are nice and tight up front, show you the 3-point, the PTO, let you hear the engine, hit the brakes, show you they're strong, lift the front end up and back up, show you the 4-wheel drive works. As always, if you are in the market for a used tractor or a used piece of ag equipment or a used piece of construction equipment, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Your likes and subscriptions help other people who are looking for equipment find our videos and find our machines, and we truly do appreciate it. All right, like I said, this one is a 2018 Kubota M6 111 cab, heat, air, 4-wheel drive. It's got the LA 1955 front loader with skid steer mount quick attach, 24-speed Powershift transmission, 3 rear remotes, 540 and 1000 shaft PTO. It's got cast centers on the rears, fender mount 3-point controls, air ride seat. It's got a radio, tilt and telescopic steering. 2,781 hours. So here in a little bit, like I said, we'll fire it up. We'll show you these front pins up here. They are nice and tight. The hydraulics are nice and strong. For now, I'm just going to get up close to everything and show you everything that I see, show you that the paint is pretty bright for a 7-year-old Kubota. If you're at all familiar with these, you know that orange paint fades pretty quickly, but this one's still fairly bright. Up here in the front loader, there's some grease and stuff splattered everywhere, but there are some spots where the paint's chipping around the edges. Nothing I wouldn't expect for a used loader tractor. Again, some scuffs and scratches. I'll try not to cause too much of a shadow. You'll see some scuffs and rock chips there in that cylinder. Up along this loader arm, everything looks pretty straight there. No huge dents or dings, nothing that looks like it's been cracked or welded or plated anywhere. And again, like I said, fairly bright there. And here on the side of the engine enclosure, you'll see there, pretty reflective and fairly bright in there. A few little scuffs and stuff here and there in the paint. Take a little closer look to that a little later, but there's some scuffs up here. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Toolbox. Looks like one little plastic flap's missing off the toolbox. That does have the 1000 shaft down in the toolbox. So it comes with both the 540 and 1000 shaft, like I previously said. Taking a look at the front tire on this side. As you'll see there, decent tread depth on this side. I'm gonna say we're at least 50% tread depth. I think I'm being very fair there. Really no weather checking to speak of here. Same thing there, that sidewall looks good. And then as I take a little step back, taking a look at the front rim on this side, you'll see there, that orange paint is pretty good, fairly bright still. One little nick right here in that outer edge of that rim. I don't know how well you can see it. There's kind of a little bit of 2 little small dents right there in that outer edge. Couple little paint chips here and there, nothing I wouldn't expect for a 7-year-old tractor. Coming back here, we'll take a look at the steps and the cab and stuff later. Take a look at the fender on this side. As you'll see there, fairly straight, and that orange paint is nice and bright again. A couple little rock chips here and there. Right there's a couple little rock chips. That's just dirt there. Same thing there, a little bit of dirt. No huge dents or dings here. I don't see anything that looks like it's been busted or cracked. These are fiberglass fender or plastic fender. You'll see a lot of times where they get cracks in them. This one looks pretty good. Up underneath there, everything looks really good underneath. Inside there. Taking a look at the rear tire on this side. Pretty darn deep tread bars there. I'm gonna say we are at least 65, maybe even 70% tread depth there. I think I'm being very fair. And they are over 2.5 fingers at least tall here on the outer edge. No weather checking in there to speak of. Same thing there on the sidewall. I'm not seeing any weather checking there. Taking a step back, looking at the rear rim on this side. Again, that orange paint's pretty decent. Just some typical scuffs and scratches, little smudge marks here and there. Like we said, cast centers, there's a little paint chipping off right there on that cast center. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Like we did say earlier, fender mount 3-point controls. Coming around, taking a look at the 3-point. Does have the extendable 3-point links. They're both good. A lot of times you'll see these, this actual piece here is kind of a thinner piece of metal, and you'll see those get smashed in. These are both pretty darn good there. Drawbar looks good. 540 shaft is in it, and like I showed you just a little bit ago, 1000 shafts in the toolbox. Everything down here at the drawbar looks good and normal. Just typical little paint chips here and there. Nothing looks like it's been busted or welded or anything there. And taking a good slow look back here on the rear axle and everything on the back. Everything looks really good here. Like I said, 3 rear remotes. Everything else looks really good back here. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Go over here and take a look at the rear tire on this side. This rear tire is a little more wore down as far as tread depth. I'm gonna say we're probably 35–40% on this side, and as you can maybe see in here, I don't know if you guys can see, there's just a little bit of weather checking in there. Sidewall looks pretty good. I'm not really seeing much weather checking there on the sidewall, maybe just a tiny little bit. Again, there's not a lot up here, but there's a little bit. Taking a look at the rear rim on this side, matches up pretty well to the other side. Maybe a few more scuffs in the rim here. No huge gouges on that outer edge. Again, some paint chipping down there in that cast center. Up underneath the fender on this side, everything looks really good in here. Then taking a good look at the fender on this side. Again, nice and straight. That paint's nice and bright. I'm not seeing anything that looks like it's been cracked or busted here on this fender. Just typical. There's some small rock chips and little scratches here and there. There's a little rock chip there. Otherwise, you can see pretty darn bright and reflective. Steps on this side look pretty decent. Looking at the front tire on this side, treads wore a little bit down on this side compared to the other side, and like the outer edge here has more wear than the inside. I don't know if they've been driving on the road some. That's what we see a lot of times when guys are going down the road. They seem to wear a little funny, and that's kind of what we're getting here. So I'm gonna say that we're at, let's call it 20% tread depth. These outer bars are well past that. The inner bars are probably a little below that. I'm really not seeing any weather checking here on this front tire. Same thing there on the sidewall. I'm not seeing any weather checking there. And taking a good look at that front rim. Again, orange paint's pretty decent. One little ding right there. Some paint chips and some paint flaking off on the inside dish there. Nothing out of the ordinary for a 7-year-old tractor with 2,700 hours. And then looking at the loader arm on this side. Again, nice and straight. Paint's pretty good. Again, just some paint chips here and there. Nothing that looks like it's been cracked or welded or plated anywhere. Some scuffs here in the paint. I don't know how well you guys can see those. Just some light scuffs. Decals are pretty decent. Like I said, nothing on either loader arm or the back of the skid steer mount plate that looks like it's been cracked or welded or plated anywhere. Take a good look at this bucket. Coming up to the front of that bucket. The bottom cutting edge is nice and straight. No big bows or anything there. I'm really not seeing any huge dents or dings in the bottom of that bucket either. And as you can see, it actually still retains over half of the original orange paint. Top side of it's nice and square there. That bottom tube, everything looks good there. Same thing up here. The paint is a little more faded right here than it is on the rest of the loader. It's pretty common. The top sides of the arms and here, for whatever reason, tend to fade down a little quicker. Typical little paint chips here and there. Grill guards in good shape. It's nice and square. A couple paint chips on the outer edge, just around the where they always start to flake. It's right around the edges. Otherwise, pretty good there. I've got it already unlatched, so it's a little easier for me to undo this heavy hood with one hand holding the camera. Taking a look here, top headlights look pretty good. Down here on the bottom headlights, we've got some, there's this one over here is cracked on the outer edge. It's kind of hard for me to get my camera over any farther. I don't know how well you can see it, but that plastic does have a crack there, a couple there, a couple small little scuffs here, couple little ones, a little paint chip here and there. There's a couple more up top. I don't know how well you can see, but about halfway up there's just some scuffs and light scratches right along this outer edge. Otherwise up here this paint's pretty darn bright, starting to flake just a little bit there in that right on that edge. A couple of rock chips there, scuff here, can't really feel it but you can definitely see it. Same thing here, just typical loader tractor use, nothing that I wouldn't expect for a 7-year-old tractor with 2,700 hours. Just, we like to point them out when we see them. I've got this hood unlatched already, so I could lift it. It's hard to do that with one hand holding the camera. Okay, taking a look underneath here. As you can see down here, everything looks pretty well normal. In there, looking at the fins, I don't know how well you guys can see inside there to see the fins, but the fins look really good there on those coolers, that cooler that you can see. Try to stick this in here a little bit so you can see up top. Bottom side of that hood, everything looks normal there. We'll go over to the side, see what we can see. Try to get the camera up in here. There you can see nice and dry in here. I'm not seeing any oil or diesel running anywhere. There's some dust and dirt in there you can see. Trying to go slow so you can see everything and trying not to bump the microphone too much here on the camera, but nice and dry in there. Same thing down here on the bottom of the block. Everything looks good there. When I get to the other side, I'll try to look underneath the tractor really good. This side, the front axle, everything looks pretty well normal there. That little shield that protects your steering cylinder's in good shape there. Same thing here, that shield that protects the steering cylinder is good. Front axle looks good from there. All right, we'll see about sneaking this camera in here so you can see it good. There you can see, again, just some dust and dirt in there, but nice and dry. Not seeing any oil or diesel or antifreeze running anywhere. Same thing down here. Again, sorry if I bumped the microphone there trying to slide it down, but you can see that block's nice and dry there. No oil or diesel running anywhere. Same thing up in here. Try to lower the camera down so you can see down on the bottom side. Everything looks pretty well normal under there. Nothing I wouldn't expect. Take a look at the cab, the interior. Steps on this side, that bottom step, this section here is kind of bent in, and then you can see those three. That one's pretty darn loose there. That one's still pretty tight, but it is busted off on this end. The other steps all seem pretty well in order. A little bit of a dent there and a little dent there. All the glass seems good. I don't see any cracks or spider webbing in any of that glass. Walk around, look at the top edge there of the roof. Everything looks pretty good so far. Yep, everything looks good up top there. And again, like I said, all the glass seems good. Not seeing any spider webbing or any cracking there. Here where you step in, everything looks really good here. Floor mat's in really good shape. No cuts or tears there. That whole floor mat's in pretty darn good shape. There's some dirt and stuff from dust from us climbing in and out of it today, running it around. Clutch pedal, everything looks good there. Brakes, throttle pedal, everything looks good over there. Again, no cuts or tears I'm seeing here in this floor mat. Park brake seems good. All this gray plastic here seems really good. Nothing's all faded out. I'm not seeing anything busted up or cracked there. Taking a good look at that seat. Bottom seat cushion is good. I don't see any cuts or tears. Same thing with the middle and top there. Everything seems good. I'm not seeing cuts or tears. Armrests are good. This armrest looks good. All of our controls are nice and legible. Three rear remotes, HVAC controls, your radio, of course your range selector for the 24-speed power shift with our power shift buttons here. That little screen there, which gives you some information when you're moving. Loader controls, this one seems in good shape. Honestly, it actually has almost all of that texture here on the loader control. The little rubber boot down here is good. Same thing here. Like I said earlier, it is tilt and telescopic steering wheel. There's our tilt. Here's our telescopic. Steering wheel seems good. Forward reverser. It is hydraulic. Everything looks good here and up by our dash. Looks like all of our fins around here are good for the HVAC. Same thing over here. Again, all this gray is in good shape. I'm not seeing anything that's busted up or cracked. $27.81 on hours. You can hear the radio probably in the background. It does work. At the time of this video, the AC is blowing nice and cold. Taking a good look here at the headliner. Very, very clean. I'm not seeing any weather stain or watermarks or anything like that. Really no dirt stains. Honestly, pretty darn clean in here on that headliner. You can still read the decals up here really well. Same thing with the decals over here on the this post here. Everything's good there. There, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there's a couple little scratches like right in that middle, right where the sun's shining there. Let me try to turn it. Just light scratches, nothing I wouldn't expect for a used loader tractor. Let's see if I can get the camera up here a little bit. There you can see them. A couple little light scratches there. All right, like I said, this one's a 2018 Kubota M6 111, $27.81 on the hours. Lots of photos on our website. That's listed down below in the description. If you have any questions, comment down below. We'll try to answer them for you. We'll get that hood shut. We'll fire it up and get right into an operational video.